call the May 6th, 2019 City Council meeting to order. Call of the roll.
John Hawkins,
Here.
Matt McKinney, Brian Miller, Jim Talbot. Here. Logan Welch.
Here.
Call for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item A, petitions, communications and requests. This is the time of the meeting that a citizen may address the council on a matter not on the agenda. Except in case of emergency, the city will not take any action at this meeting, but may ask city staff to research the matter or have the matter placed on the agenda for a future meeting. Anyone have anything for us? Any other? We've got, on May 13, 6 and 7 p.m. as a movie premiere for local people at Webster Theatre. Just a reminder for everybody that that's going to be shown this on May 13th. Other than that, just let it. B, minutes and claims. The following items have been deemed non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or a member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, it will be considered on its normal sequence on the agenda. We have item 1 as minutes of April 15th, 2019. Item 2 is a resolution on payroll for period ending April 13 and paid on April 19 of 2019. Number 3 is a resolution on payroll for the period ending April 27, 2019 and paid on May 3rd of 2019. And 4 is a resolution on bills, additional invoice fund lists.
I move to approve 1, 2, 3, and 4 collectively.
Second.
I just I just want it, the resolution amount and the fund list amount will be changed to reflect the approval of that additional invoice, just so you know.
The
It'll be adjusted to include that invoice if you approve.
one for Stony Creek.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I move to approve 1, 2, 3, and 4 with that being considered.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Section C, general agenda. Item 1 on the agenda. Is it a little early, 6:05? We gotta be,
Yeah, we better
want me to go
on.
under? Yeah, Brian? We'll go to item 2. Recommend approval for issuance of beer and liquor licenses by the Idaho Department of Commerce for the following. A, renewal of a Class C liquor license, outdoor service and Sunday sales for Gridiron Family Grill and Sports Lounge at 1121 East 2nd Street. B is a renewal of a Class C liquor license, outdoor service and Sunday sales for the Links at Webster City, 405 North Des Moines Street. And C is a renewal of a Class E liquor license, Class B wine permit and Class C beer permit for Fairway Stores Incorporated, number 395 at 942 2nd Street.
I move to approve A, B, and C collectively.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 3 is a motion setting a public hearing on budget amendments for 2018-19 budget for May 20th at 6:05 p.m.
If you have any questions.
Anyone have any questions on it at all?
No, we're just
Daddy's
setting
here
the
to-
date tonight anyway, right?
Yeah,
No.
it's not. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
We need a
Do I need to
motion.
move?
Yeah, we need a motion and a
I'll move to
second.
approve.
Yeah, we better have a motion.
Brian, you second?
Yep. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 1 is a public hearing on proposed plans and specifications, proposed form of contract and estimate of costs for construction of a 2018-19 electrical underground conversion project. I will open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No written objections?
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections.
I'll close the hearing. Ken, did you want to talk on this one?
This area, obviously, this is the third time we've bid this project. Had to reduce the scope of the project to get some bids. Obviously, looking at the memo, we received 3 bids. We received one other additional bid, but he did not sign his bid, and he did not put it on the bid form. So therefore, it's a null and void bid, just so you know. And that individual is aware of that also, so. As you see, Pre-Morris, out of Johnston, Iowa, was a low bid. It was pretty close. It's close, but he was a low bid, so recommending we award it to that contractor.
Well, at least we'll finally get it moving on it, so.
Right.
Is it something start later in the year, is it? When is it?
What?
When's it supposed to start, that project?
Well, had indication that he wanted to start somewhere around the 15th of June.
Okay,
Some of it. So.
well, that'd be good, yeah.
And will this be in unison with our efforts? Like, will our line department still be working on it? We just do this in unison?
Not really. We may be involved with it to some degree. I mean, Adam is gonna have to, answer questions or
Sure.
that kind of stuff, so we'll be involved in that piece of it, but us actually doing any of the work, no, they will be doing it.
Is it gonna be underground into the houses there too then? The
Well,
services
that'll be upon the, each individual dwelling, whether they're set up for it or not, and whether they get an electrician and then make it so that the meter is acceptable for underground, then we'll take it to them.
And Ken, I apologize, maybe my question is a little confusing. What I mean by in unison is like, to date, we did this when we could, right?
Right.
So, say for instance, this summer, the line department has a free couple days or something, would they start working on a section not deemed in this bid?
Correct,
Okay, I
correct.
gotcha. So we could still make some ground. I
Correct.
gotcha.
We're doing that every week.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
We're planning on being up on East and West Curve Drive this summer and getting that neighborhood done.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Because this is designed to be a shot in the arm to the plan, to get us back on track and get us caught up, so yeah.
Yeah, and it may not get us caught up,
Sure.
so it may have to happen again.
You think a big part of that, I was thinking about, the getting it into the houses, though, from where all that is probably a good thing to be done, isn't it? Because otherwise you're still gonna be back in there.
Yep.
You've still got poles and you've still got wires in the air, which, so I guess the question's gonna be whether we should, to get it done properly, is it a case of we're gonna have to throw some more money at it for the
Well,
people in there?
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to send out, I guess it's a 1, 2, 3, 4-page letter to every homeowner, and it's a kind of a question and answer letter, and it explains like, okay, who pays for what? If you get with the electric utility prior to June 15th and you get your electrician in there and get it done, then the line department, or not the line department, this contractor will take it then to that house.
Okay, good.
But the individual is still responsible for everything inside the house and, what needs to take place on those lines.
Because otherwise we sort of got it underground, but then we haven't really got very far ahead if we've still got it above ground, so, yeah.
There's also,
Okay.
for May 21st, there's planned at 7 o'clock a meeting for each resident at City Hall here, so.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Ken. Anyone else got any questions for him?
Well, once this gets approved, Adam will be the point of contact with the city as to the timeline, correct? Okay, good, thank you.
Call for a motion on the resolution finally approving and confirming plans and specifications, form of contract and estimate of costs for construction of a 2018-19 electrical underground conversion project.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item 7, I call for, whoop,
Yeah, on the voided
isn't that what I'm on?
contract.
Just a moment. Call for a motion,
Yep.
resolution, awarding
Yep.
contract for construction of the 2018-2019 electrical underground conversion project to Primoris Avenia Incorporated of Johnson, Iowa, in the amount of $993,389.85.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Okay, item 4 is a motion on City of Webster City checking account and investments. Jody, this one's yours.
Well, bids were, or proposals were asked for the 4 banking institutions in Webster City. And I have 2 spreadsheets showing the results and showing what I felt, according to what was given to us, was the best, for the city. Well, which one we would get the best return. So the recommendation that I'm making, and I'm basing this off 14 million cash on hand. We also have right now another 10 million in CDs, but for the 14 million, we moved the checking account to Availabank. Availabank had given us 2 options. I thought that option number 2 with the 0.5 interest on the checking was a little bit better. It can go both ways. I mean, the other option was dependent on 91-day U.S. Treasury bill rate. So that this option is just the flat 0.5, and then to have, I called it a money market. I guess it's actually a sweep account with Availabank at 1.85% interest. And I did confirm that 1.85 would be in effect guaranteed for the 5-year contract. You know, our investment policy states that we will bid this service out every 5 years. And then we would do that with like the 4.5 million. So we would have 5 million between a sweep account and a checking to start with, you know, at Availabank, and then that would leave us 8 million that I would like to purchase additional CDs. I did ask for bids during the proposal, and First State Bank had the best rate, so I would recommend purchasing $8 million in CDs from First State. Then we also have $5 million in current CDs, and those are, 2 of them will be due just in a few days. So that will be an additional bid that will be sent out to the local, and that one I usually do include US Bank in Fort Dodge as well. So, I don't know if there's questions or if anybody else.
All else being equal, like the interest rates and stuff being more of the needle mover here, any other unique services or anything like that provided in the bids that are outstanding that
No.
kind of trump any interest rates?
No, and actually, I mean, I've been very happy with First State Bank, but, you know, if you take a bid, you need to follow through in my mind and be fair, but no,
Just checking.
nope.
Okay.
No, that's a good point you brought up. I mean, I like to see the bidding on it, see where it goes, you know, and it's spreading around a little bit in town. Are we precluded by law from doing investments outside of the area, like on CDs?
We're supposed to be, just within our county, or, or a county right next to us. But the only time I think you can go away from that is if you do not have any local banking, if you lived in a county that didn't have a bank in it.
Okay, thank you. I was just curious because I know there's places, you know, that up and down a little bit more, you know, but.
Right, and so we do reach out to Fort Dodge, you know, since Webster County, but right now, you know, no one else is listed in our depository resolution, not that we can't change that. And certainly, you know, reach out to other banks as well, but, in the past, we used to send to Ames. The last few years, we didn't even get a response, so, but I can surely try again.
No, thank you. You answered my question. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, call for a motion.
So moved.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 5 is a resolution approving change order number 1 to the 2018 Wilson Brewer Park Cabin Foundations Project with Peterson Construction of Webster City, Iowa. Okay,
And just as the memo states, this is for the flooring of both cabins, the new site they'll be located on. Originally, this wasn't part of the contract on that, but what we'll do is we'll be putting a concrete floor in, and they can also, at a later date, if they choose, to put a wooden floor in on top of that. But it'll just protect the cabin itself from the environment and from animals getting in. And that'll be paid by we'll transfer money from Enhance Hamilton County Foundation into the city's account to pay for it.
okay. Pretty straightforward, so.
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 6 is a motion setting a dates and times for clean-up drop-off event, the middle school parking lot, on June 7th from 12 noon till 4 p.m. and on June 8th from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. I guess it's the same as what we did,
Same as last year.
same as the last 5 years or whatever it is we've been doing this. So.
We're all good coordinating with the trash man and scrap processors.
Yeah, well, we'll get a hold of them here tomorrow and see now we've approved it, so.
We'll get a hold of some manpower like
See
we've done.
if they can help out.
All right.
Yeah, that would definitely made it easier last year, that's for sure. So, they were great help.
I'll see if they can help, but I know the one complaint we had last year is people didn't know that the wrestlers were helping. So can we announce that or something?
We can let them know beforehand or whatever. I mean, it was a free will
Yeah, free will donation.
to the wrestling. Some people didn't like the fact that and they don't have to. I mean, it's a free will donation. So it's,
Yep. Well,
some people thought they had to pay, but they don't.
empty it no
they don't
matter
have
what.
to pay. You don't have to donate anything. Okay.
Motion.
Do you need a motion?
Move to approve?
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Item 7 is a motion on request to temporarily close streets around West Twin Park on July 4th, 2019, from 7:30 till 9:30 a.m.
And this is for our annual, I think it's the 31st or 30, this will be the 32nd annual Firecracker 5K on July 4th. We haven't officially, usually it doesn't take a whole lot of time, but we did have a neighbor became upset because she was trying to go down Second Street and we had temporarily for a few minutes had it closed off. And so I thought, I visited with the race director. He's one of the coaches at Iowa Central, and we thought it'd be a good idea to request officially to block it off, and it probably wouldn't be more for an hour or so. And it'll start, same race course, it'll start and stop right by West Twin Park Shelter, head Water Street to Des Moines Street, Des Moines to Beach, or to Ohio, then down Beach, the trail, and then back, so.
Okay.
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 8 is a resolution supporting the cooperative efforts between Boone Hamilton and Webster counties to apply for the redesignation with Iowa's Great Places program. Lindsay, did you want to?
So Hamilton and Webster County have already been designated as an Iowa's Great Place for some time now. All of the Great Places are being asked to submit for redesignation. For some areas, the designation took place so long ago that the distinction is losing its meaning, and so they're asking for all the areas to reapply. Since the last time when we were designated as a Great Place, we've actually started with there was the Parks to People plan. So that was the partnership between Boone, Webster, and Hamilton County to promote and develop their outdoor recreation opportunities. And so we want to add Boone County to our Iowa Great Places designation. The application's been submitted, and And so we'll, hoping that we'll get that designation again. It allows the Tri-County area to go after grants for kind of joint projects. In the past, it's gotten us some signage, I believe, for around our trails and things like that. So it's just a resolution saying that we, as the city, Webster City, support that.
No controversy in that. I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 9 is a council memorandum, a resolution authorising the mayor and city clerk to enter into an agreement with ASK Studio, Des Moines, Iowa, for the facade improvements to 713 Second Street. You might as well stay there.
Okay, so, for the facade improvement project at 713 Second Street, we previously, had approval from council to, open up an RFQ, a request for qualifications from, architectural firms. We received 2 responses, one from Shive Hattery and one from Ast Studio. The scoring committee, using the rubric provided by, Midas, gave a higher score to Ast Studio. They submitted in partnership with Shuck Britson. We'd had a previous relationship with Shuck Britson. Also, they had more, Ast Studio had more experience with historic renovations and things like that. Their proposal was just more thorough and all around received higher scores. So this is actually going ahead and a resolution to enter into that agreement with them.
Right. Anyone need any more information? Call for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
All right, thank you,
Thanks,
Council.
Lindsay. Item 10 is a resolution approving and confirming plans, specifications and form of contract and estimate of costs for the 2019 concrete street repair project for Webster City, Iowa. Ken?
This project includes just some spot repairs along Fairmeadow. There's some on Oak Avenue, around that area. So what this does is just, they're concrete repairs that need to take place. We had some monies in the budget that we can use for this, and we came in under budget. Our budget was 60,000, low bid was 51 and change, so we're recommending that we go with a low bid.
I see on this, there's some that are, let's see how they explain it. Full depth patch. Is that when they actually cut it down to the under tree?
And this will, all of these will be full depth.
Oh, okay. There's a couple other line items, like
Yeah.
sub base over excavate, but we're going down. We're not doing like that cold patch.
No,
And
we're removing the concrete, we're gonna pour concrete back in, it'll be pinned, and put back, so.
Okay. Call for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item 11 is a resolution awarding agreement for the 2019 street repair project, Webster City, Iowa.
So moved.
It's the same thing, so,
Second.
thanks, mate. We'll call for a motion to award the contract to Habhab Construction of Webster City, Iowa in the amount of $51,364.
I moved.
Moved in a second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 12 is a motion approving amendment to the restrictive covenants for the Brewer Creek 5th edition. Carla?
Back when we created this subdivision, we did record covenants for the area in an effort to protect the value of the lots and the desirability of the lots. Since then, we have been working with a developer and private citizens that have already built 4 homes out there. And when a developer asked us a question about building a 2-story home, it's like, well, if he follows the guidelines that we've already laid in, that's gonna be one heck of a big house. So we decided very simply just to take out 3 words in the description for size requirements and, or 4 words, on the ground level. We're just gonna allow it to a square footage for the second story, if that is a second story home, and the first story combined. Instead of saying the first story is gonna be 1,500 or 1,600 square feet, that usually implies that's what the second story is gonna be, and that's a big house. So we're not gonna limit anything, and we'll create something that's relative to the single story and a 2-story. That's one of the amendments. And then the second one was, the city had allowed for a 24-month time frame for the city to still be in control of the covenants. And when we're dealing with such a development agreement that we have before us already, it's gonna lapse over a few years, so, or it's gonna continue for a few years, and we would like to still be in control of the covenants at that time to assure that the council's intent for that subdivision still follows through. There can't be any re-subdividing or a house on 2 lots or whatever. The council has set the parameters for that subdivision. We'd like to follow through by having control of the covenants for 5 years instead of 2 years. So those are just the 2 amendments that we're bringing for you tonight. And it will affect both 5th and 6th edition. So,
But the contractor to put the bid in on all the lots has he requested those?
all but 3. 4 have been sold, and he wants everything else but 3 of the ones that are out there. But that's gonna be over a couple years, so we wanna still make sure that it's done according to how we want it done.
Has he seen a draft of what's proposed tonight?
Pardon me?
Has the developer seen what is proposed tonight to us?
Oh, yeah, he had no problem with
Yeah, we
it.
made him aware that we were gonna change it to
Yeah.
60 months.
No
when we
issue.
initialized
Yeah, he
our
had no
conversation.
problem.
Okay.
Yeah. And in the agreement, the previous agreement, it says, I even put in there something about he'll abide by the covenants that are subject to change or something like that.
Yeah.
So he said, no problem.
No, I think it's a wise move to extend our window of control, especially with him owning a majority of the lots, you know, so.
Right.
So,
And I'll remind you also at this time that his due diligence, he's got until May 15th to tell us for sure, one way or the other. So it's not a done deal like some people have said.
sure.
So the 15th of May will be the drop dead date. Can you give us a feeling, how do you think he's leaning?
It's positive, but it can change too overnight.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Carl. So a motion on approving the amendment restrictive covenants for Burrow Creek 5th edition is item 12.
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And then item 13 is the motion approving amendment to restrictive covenants for Burrow Creek 6th edition.
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 14 is a resolution accepting and approving acquisition of property generally located at 1014 Elm Street in the city of Webster City, Hamilton County. Zach, do you want to talk on that one? You've dealt with it for a few years.
Yeah, so you're probably all familiar with this property. We filed on this case May 17th of 2017, so almost 2 years to the date. I mean, 11 days from 2 years off. We finally got a court order in March that said that he had 30 days to either fix it up and make it into compliance, or the city would receive ownership. And that passed on the 15th of April. We filed again our report showing that nothing had been done. So we were awarded the property under the abandonment statute, which we've done before. So this is just the next step we do with all these abandoned properties, where you have to actually agree to acquire it. So if not, it just floats out there in limbo. So.
I was talking to Lisa a little bit before the meeting, and moving forward with this property, we'd have to go through and inspect it, and then decide what we want to do with it. A couple different routes we've done in the past: sold it through sealed bid or
Yep.
silent bid, or demolished it ourselves and sold the lot. Right.
Yep. Or Or we've done it, that way we've done it where a developer, not a developer, but a party buys it, demos it themselves.
Yeah, gotcha.
So there's all different options, but first things first, we gotta get it, acquire it, and then we go through and inspect it, so.
Is the prior owner, satisfied with this, or is he contesting it?
Well, he's not satisfied by any means. I don't know if he's gonna contest it or not. He still has time to decide if he's going to or not, so.
How long does he have then?
30 days, so what, May 15th? May 17th, I think, actually, because we waited a couple days to get the order.
I mean, he's avoided talking about it for 2 years, so I don't know
Yeah,
what his
yeah.
interest would be in
I don't-
maintaining
I
it,
don't think
but,
there is any.
thank you.
Well, this is one of the harder ones.
The hardest one.
Yeah, yeah. So I appreciate your diligence on it and sticking with it. And again, if all goes as we hoped, this property will be, either no more or bettered. So I appreciate it.
Okay, we call for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 15 is a resolution establishing a nuisance consisting of junk vehicles at 1330 Second Street and ordering an abatement thereof within 10 days. I guess they're here, aren't they? Do you want to come up?
Hello, I'm Josh Gordon, 1332nd Street, Webster City, Iowa. I do demolition derbies, trailer races out here at the Webster City racetrack. I do Algona, Boone, all other places. When I tear my vehicles apart, I don't smash the glass, I take it out the right way. I don't keep it at my house. I take it to the landfill out there. I pay for it to get rid of. I don't have junk vehicles sitting around. The vehicles I do have, I use yearly. My son is 14 this year. He'll be doing his first derby this year in Webster City. My wife did one last year, so I have 3 people in my family doing derbies. So I have a couple cars there. A couple of the cars that were listed on there, one was my plow truck, which is registered, titled, and insured and everything. I don't know why that was listed. Another vehicle was registered, titled, and insured. Not sure what I'm gonna do. I don't know what you guys want me to do. The picture, looks like someone had to jump up in the truck and peek over my fence just to take the picture. If you pass by the front of my house, I'm sure everybody does daily, you can look at, you don't see anything. My yard's kept clean, I mow my grass, I do all the other stuff, so trying to see what you guys can do for me so I don't have to stop derbying, I guess.
One
They're
question.
parked on gravel too, it's not in dirt, not in grass or anything like that.
So this picture here that I'm seeing in our memo, I assume it's. the one
Yeah,
you
I
sent.
don't have it in
You don't
front of me,
have it.
but yeah.
That's off the back alley.
Yeah, they peeked over my fence, like in the truck to take a picture. It must have been when they were trimming my tree lines, or the trees above the thing, I'm assuming when someone's seen it or something. I never had a problem with it before. I've been derbying for 10 plus years.
The registration you say on your tow truck, or what do you say, plow truck?
The red truck
The
right
red
there,
truck, okay.
the plow truck.
And that's in good working order right now?
Yeah. I mean, it's not the prettiest, but I just use it to move snow, that's about it.
It runs, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's in good working order for me.
Yeah. A little rusty.
No, I appreciate you coming and talk to us. I do have a couple questions for Elise, just kind of what the ordinances are pertaining to some of these, because I understand your concern, I understand these are
And I wanna
demolition.
make everybody happy, I'm not trying to make enemies or
And-
cause trouble.
No, I know you're not, and I hope you don't feel targeted either.
Oh, no,
We're just
no.
been going after the abandoned vehicle or the nuisance vehicle
Yeah.
ordinance, putting some clout behind it and really going after them.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this has probably been going on for years, and you
Yeah.
probably didn't know anything
Two
else.
of those actually were purchased like 2 weeks before that picture was taken.
So the reason I like to talk to Lisa is to kind of see just what an ordinance says,
Mm-hmm.
how lenient it is against what you may have or may not have in your backyard, and see if we can't find something, to come out of this. But, again, I don't want you to feel targeted, because we're getting more strict with our ordinances and really putting our feet down with them. Therefore, it kind of disrupts some people's norm, because it's a little more aggressive than we have in the past, so.
Yeah, it's pretty aggressive,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I see race car drivers, they have their old race cars been sitting out in their yards for 10 plus years.
But that aggressiveness has come from a consensus on the council to be that aggressive.
Yeah.
So we've made a conscious decision to, like, okay, we're gonna kind of practice what we preach, you
Yeah.
know, if you will. I appreciate you coming and talking to us tonight. If you don't mind, I wouldn't mind asking
Yep,
you some
that's
questions,
fine.
but
Yeah.
if you wanna come up and talk after she speaks, go for it, you know. So, Elise, these vehicles are deemed junk vehicles?
Junk vehicles, yeah, they're not roadworthy, there's parts missing off of them, you know, they're the ones full of junk in the back, it's being used to store more junk. You can see from the pictures that, you know, like, there's a derby car, which is definitely not roadworthy, the green pickup truck, which is full of garbage and debris. Then there's another green sedan off to the side, which hasn't been ran in a while, and then a silver, I can't quite tell what it was. And these actually came to us as a complaint from another citizen here in Webster.
What, from your position, what would you deem demolition derby vehicles? I'm asking this because we're a demolition derby community.
Right.
We have race car drivers.
Absolutely,
demolition.
and we
It's
do
big
have a
part of it.
caveat here, you know, that says any of that stuff has to be stored inside of a building.
Okay.
It can't be stored outside.
And that's in our ordinance?
Yep, that's
Okay.
our ordinance.
Have we confirmed that the red vehicle is registered?
No, there was no way to confirm without
From,
trespassing.
from where we were?
Right.
Okay, no, gotcha.
Yeah, it doesn't look good with the one pickup that's full of garbage in there, but, huh?
There's pop cans in the back of it.
Is it? You know, I guess it's, having a 6-foot fence there does help. but,
Having a 6-foot fence does help, however, if you looked at it in the neighborhood of North Terrace or on Georgetown, you know, this wouldn't be acceptable. So I don't really feel that we could look at it as a separate entity just because it's behind a 6-foot fence on Second Street.
When were they given notice?
Notice was sent on April 18th.
And it looks like they have 20 days.
Yes,
Has that been met yet?
just about, not
Okay.
quite.
I'm really good at math.
No worries.
Okay. Okay, so they still have time.
Yeah, they still have time.
Okay.
A day.
Is that it?
20 days would be tomorrow.
Well, we requested
Yeah, that's what they're here for.
Yeah, that's why they're here. They're to
Within the
request-
20 days, they have the right to request a hearing, and that's what your guys
got
come into play.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, I'll open up to anyone else. I have some ideas on this, but please feel free to ask questions before we jump into a solution.
You said you just got a couple of those vehicles a
Yeah.
couple weeks
Two
before.
of them, that green one was just purchased, and then that silver one, which it has the front clip off, I'm assuming that's the parts missing that she's talking about.
Yeah, I'm not,
Front clip off, cause we're gonna pull the motor out of it, cause we put our own motors into it.
now, do you do all the maintenance, I mean, you're taking the parts and do all that in the back?
Yep, we buy our bars right across the street at Leesburg's, we take all of our, like, everything to the scrapyard, you know, when we're done, and jump to the junkyard, landfill, like, we don't let it sit there, like, if we pull the seat out, within 3-4 days of that weekend, I go to the dump every week, so that's where I take the trash, and I just throw it all in there with that.
So you're asking for consideration for an extension on that. Is there any of this stuff that you can get out of there to?
Yeah, I can put them in my garage, but when I'm working on them, I gotta pull the other ones out.
All these vehicles will be used and gone by August.
By the Derby?
I'm hoping I make junk out of them.
We will, trust me.
Well, and the only concern I have is that there was the complaint that this has been ongoing.
Yeah, it's.
Whether it has been ongoing for an extended period of time, I don't know. This has been just brought to my attention, so. And that is the concern of this other citizen, is that this has been ongoing for an extended period of time, that it's not just, you know, this year, it's a regular cycle.
If you don't mind me asking, I'm not trying to get too personal with you, Josh, but do you have, like, when you pull the vehicles, so I'm assuming you have vehicles in the garage right now?
Yeah, I have
Right.
one in the garage.
So you really have no other place to put these vehicles, right?
I mean, I can store them all in my garage if that's what you'd like, except when I work on them, it's hard to do that with the car side by side.
As,
Cause I can fit 4 vehicles in the garage,
okay.
and right now there's only
Well,
one.
that would probably take care of a lot of the problem. And it would probably suffice what we're asking. And it might be a pain to pull them in and out, but, again, I'm naive on this ordinance. I'm relying heavily on Elise to educate me on this. But if our ordinance says that we want, demolition vehicles stored inside, we'd probably have to stick with that, you know, and keep them inside. You know, I'd be open to granting maybe like a 20 or 30-day extension. Just you work with us and see what happens. But again, I'm open to other ideas, but if you have physical space to put some of this stuff, let's just see how it looks when that stuff's there.
But putting out the fence from the garage to the deck on the house, I mean, then nobody would be able to see it.
Most of people.
See, I don't think that's the point. I think the point of our ordinance
Needs
is,
to be indoors.
yeah, and I think,
What about like a carport?
I don't know.
There again, it says in our ordinance it needs to be, it's stored inside.
A carport,
Carport is not considered inside
Look-
because it's at least open on two sides.
Look-
if I put a tarp around it,
It even says
like
garage.
what teeth will let the tap?
It's still, yeah, that's still not considered inside.
No, and like, I'll back up, like, a lot of our ordinances are based around safety. And I know it's your property, and I know, and safety and aesthetics, right? So neighbors don't wanna see it, and you don't want the neighbor kid getting curious, playing race car driver and getting cut on your land, right? You know, so it protects you too, in a sense, you know, giving a kid tetanus or something, you know, so. Anyway, I don't see us rewriting the ordinance, and I don't see us backing off of kind of the aggression we've gone towards it. But I wouldn't mind just kind of seeing what we can do with some of these stored. And I get it if like your son's 14 and you might have a new driver soon, you know, I get it, parking back there, but that'll be a registered vehicle, you know, right?
So
So,
what about across the street at Good Pastures, when he has non-registered trailer racers over there? I heard
And
he had to get a
just so you
lawyer.
know, he has been addressed as well.
Okay, so I
So-
just have to get a lawyer to address the issue?
No, he still has to clean his property, so.
you know, I understand kind of going like, you know, what about them?
Yeah,
the-
a hobby, man.
No,
It's-
I understand, Josh. The thing I really look down upon though is let's not name anyone else because,
Oh, I could,
you
I
know,
wouldn't throw it around town.
I know, but that's what's gotten us in trouble in the past with ordinances.
We're hoping that we got all them on
And-
the radar too, so.
That's what keeps Elise having a job, right? So she can go kind of look into that. We don't want anyone playing police officer. If you'd like to make a report, please call Elise, talk to police, please. But be honest,
People peeping over my fence either.
sure, you know,
I mean, it'll seem unfair to you because, you know, you do keep you know, your place is clean. But unfortunately, you know, we have rules about this, so, and so, you know, that's the problem. And I mean, if you can get more of them inside your garage, then that would be good. I don't know, how many, is he allowed any of them in the backyard at all?
No, no junk vehicles are allowed outdoor storage on any property.
How's it considered a
So-
junk vehicle? Because it's a hot, what about race cars, is that considered a junk vehicle?
If it's not licensed and able to drive on the streets, then it's considered a junk vehicle. Race cars would be considered junk. There's not something you could, you know, take down the interstate.
you know, and that's something we can look into. That's part of our community. I'm not a race fan. I go to the Demolition Derby. I don't mind it, but I'm by no means a race fan. But I know it's a huge part of our community. And if our ordinance needs a little bit of, you know, extra wordage to exclude those or something, we can work on that and move forward, you know, with something like that. But that's probably 6 months to a year out. Every time we open an ordinance, it's a journey, right? So today, as it's written though, those need to be inside. And I know it's been kind of just the norm to let it be stored outside. Just moving forward, we're never gonna get any ground on that if we just don't kind of draw that line in the sand, Josh. And I apologize if it's seeming like you're being attacked, and like, 'cause I get it totally, you know. If someone came and reminded me the city has an ordinance of patchy grass, I'd be in big trouble, right? 'Cause I got a bunch of dead spots in my yard. So I'd be like, oh, that's just how I kept my yard, you know. So I totally get it, man. What I would propose though today is we give you another 20-day window. Let's see how that backyard can look in 20 days, and then we go from there, you know? And if it looks the same or similar or not really gain much ground, then we might have to move forward with a municipal infraction. If it looks like you're working with us, great.
It's not a municipal infraction.
Or sorry.
The vehicles get towed.
That's right, so.
But you can, you said you got room for 4
I could
vehicles.
fit 4, so I could fit 3 more in there right now.
Okay, well, then that would leave the plow truck.
It's
Yeah,
registered.
Plow truck and I think one other one, the trailer race truck, which
Yeah.
is junk. Well, actually, I do have headlights on it, I do have title and registration for it.
Well, so what I would recommend is you bring the title and registration and proof that they run to Elise and get the other 3 or 4 in the garage. And then we're kind of, at a
At
mute
least,
point.
yeah, at least don't, be able to keep the registration up on your vehicles if you're gonna park them in your backyard. So, that's, that is one way around it.
So that's just my idea. I mean, if that's the consensus, I'd be happy to make a motion, or if that's what people think. I'd move to give them a 20-day extension, and then at the end of that 20 days, they show registration on any vehicles you have in the backyard, and the other ones inside the garage. Awesome. Sound fair? You bet.
Thanks, Elise. We wanna,
I moved on that. I don't know if I need a second to vote.
Give me a second.
what he said.
So 20-day extension and by that date to show proof of title and
Of
registration.
anything in the backyard and everything else inside the garage.
Well, and I think one thing within that 20 days, as soon as possible.
Sorry,
get the
are we
vehicles-
doing everything legally? Are we
You
stepping
can't
out
just
line?
be registered, junk vehicle doesn't mean it's just registered, it has to
And
be inoperable, it has to be in operable state, it can't have any missing parts. So I mean, you can register a vehicle that doesn't have that,
So they just have to prove
It
it's,
just can't be a junk vehicle parked
they
outside.
can just prove it's drivable and roadworthy and registered, right?
It's not, that it doesn't meet the definition of junk vehicle, that's easy.
Because missing parts is kind of a slippery thing, I'm probably missing a part on my car, and then that's, that, I mean, not visibly, but I get how that might be a tricky thing, so I believe I said in my motion that proof of it can drive, but if I didn't, I would gladly amend my motion, because I definitely don't want to be out of line with our ordinance.
Essentially, we're just giving them another 20 days. They still have to be compliant with whatever the ordinance is.
But I think those vehicles should be moved inside as soon as possible.
Right.
And work around the rest of the ordinance within that 20 days. You say you got room, so I think those should be put inside. Just a sideline, do you know anybody in the county? I know there's no zoning in the county for.
Go put it out in the form.
Is that 20 days from today?
Wait from tomorrow.
Sounds like from tomorrow,
From the deadline of, probably, so.
if
Okay.
Zach's math's better than ours.
All right, so do you want to try that again?
Yeah, all right. And I apologize, these are always tricky to do, when we grant extensions, but what I propose and I move on is that we grant them a 20-day extension to bring any junk vehicle inside of the dwelling or the garage, and any roadworthy vehicle, drivable and registered vehicle, proof to the city for the next 20 days, that they plan on keeping outside.
Okay,
Have a second. Brian, what's the second?
I'll second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you for coming and speaking.
Approved.
I
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Where are we?
16.
Go over. Resolution, item 16 is a resolution approving amendment number 9 to the on-call street paving specialist engineering services agreement with Snyder and Associates Incorporated of Ankeny, Iowa, for the 2020 Street Department Maintenance Building Project. Ken, yeah, you better.
As you see in the memo, it's an agreement to allow an engineer to design and get us closer to building a new street department building at the street department shed. We've gone through a lot of wheres and, where would it be best to be built? Where wouldn't it be? Will it fit on this lot? There's some other things that are still in consideration that we don't know yet, and one of them being that was a landfill at one point in time, and so we're not sure about what will be required or would be required for the footings. So that is one consideration. But what this is to get the engineer hired to pursue the project.
Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, we've worked with Snyder a lot in the past.
Yep. Okay, call for motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 17 is a resolution approving amendment number 10 to the on-call street paving specialist engineering services agreement with Snyder and Associates Incorporated of Ankeny, Iowa for the 2020 Second Street reconstruction project. So this is going from where we were
Yeah,
last time.
last time, we discussed this and, it was by consensus that you wanted me to bring an engineering firm to start designing or looking at, redoing or reconstructing Second Street from Prospect Street to Overpass Drive, which would be the bridge. And that would include all the utilities under Second Street. So what this engineering agreement does, and I think this is important, at any point in time, because we're not sure of the funding at this point. I mean, we're looking at possibly bonding for this, because I don't know where else we would get the funds. We can pull the plug at any time. And I want you to know that that's in there. So it's as needed. You know, if we get to a point where the council says, no, we can't do this, then we can pull that plug.
Okay. All right, call for motion.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Thanks, Ken. Are you going to talk on the water thing too? Item 18, request from the water plant supervisor enter into an agreement with Peerless Well Company of Dubuque, Iowa, to pull and inspect the well number 8. Sorry.
Yeah, well number 8 is our newest well, so it's time for it to be pulled and inspected, and what that does is it pulls the inside casing and the shaft, and they look at it and then they put it all back together and put it back down and do a test run on it. And it does take a period of time, and that's one nice thing about the city of Webster City having 3 wells, because when this well is being taken down or inspected, it's obviously inoperable, and it can happen, it can take as long as maybe a month or better. And then if another well, we have a problem with another well, we still have that 3rd well to get our water, so that is key. This particular scenario, Peerless Well, they were the low bid, so we're recommending we go with them.
Thank you. Call for a motion to
So
pull the well.
moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Next section is D, reports and recommendations of officers, boards and commissions. Don't think there are any. You got any?
Yeah, the Youth Advisory Commission met last Sunday, Sunday before last. Yeah, Sunday before last. And just remind everybody, there'll be more coming out in the community shortly, but they're planning their 2nd annual Frisbee golf tournament for June 8th, and that'd be from 10 till about 2-ish, 10 to 2 or 3-ish that day. Just depends how the brackets work out and how many people sign up, but just like last year, there'll be a team event and a singles event. Again, it's to bring exposure and utilization to our Frisbee golf course. And also this year being the year we're potentially adding another 9 holes. So again, just getting families and youth out to use one of our amenities.
I had somebody ask me about the extra 9 holes, and I didn't recall.
So
We're working on
still
the
in
design
planning,
phase
yeah.
with the youth. I think you have a couple names of people.
Yeah, so a couple of the Youth Advisory Commission members are gonna be part of this ad hoc committee with a couple frolfing experts. You know, I kinda use quotations, I don't know what that means exactly, but people that are very knowledgeable on what a good course layout is, and possibly some Parks and Rec members, and obviously Kent would be crucial in that. And they're gonna help kinda lay out where we're gonna put those extra 9 holes. They're already purchased,
We've already got all the equipment. It's ready to be installed, and with the exception of the tee-off areas, like
Yes.
that was an Eagle Scout project that hopefully we can do that again then too.
And we are moving forward with putting them at Brewer Creek.
Right.
I know there was some discussion going out in Kendall Young, but we decided it'd be better in the heart of the city. There's other efforts that can be made at Kendall Young, but, to get people utilizing that park, but for now, we just kinda wanna keep all the Frisbee golf in one area, so.
The best case scenario, when would we see the other 9 holes?
End of summer, probably, sometime this
Just
summer.
anytime.
Yeah.
And I think we'd probably have Brian Stroner help us plot on their GIS system to make sure. And
Yeah, and that's what some of the Youth Advisory Commission are kinda weaker on, being youth, they're kinda like, okay, so what do we do? Like, do we just go out there and start marketing where we want them? Like, well, that's where we probably wanna take advantage of some of the engineering with some city staff, so, I would encourage him to be part
so
of that
whenever you
discussion.
guys are ready, you can just let us know.
Yeah, Brianna Luke, the chairperson of the Youth Advisory Commission, I'll encourage her to reach out to you and just get that ball rolling, so.
E item is, city attorney update and report for 5/1/19.
Yeah, so we've already talked about the covenants in depth, so if there's any other questions on that, I'd be more than happy to answer it. Other one, we had that meeting with, Pat Shanahan and Mark Jackson, is that his last name? Regarding the, city manager search, so one of their takeaways was they wanted us to make sure our, new agreement with the potentially new city manager, whenever that may be, is in line, so we have something to offer them, based on your guys' recommendations. So Beth and I worked on that. We've now got that pretty well hammered out. And then we talked about last meeting, about the small cell wireless facilities policy. That's been implemented now, and Ken and I have also been working on actually doing a full ordinance on that, so that it's not just a policy, but rather an ordinance. So that will be coming, either next meeting or the following after that, and then we'll run 3 readings on that, so. And if I have any questions, I can answer them.
Something in my mind now. Can't think of it. I thought I had, so I was thinking of something while he was telling me that,
No, lost
but I've lost it, so it'll have to wait. Maybe I can think of it.
Call him in the middle of the night when you think of it.
I won't answer, but you can call.
One thing I'd like to see sometime on a future, agenda is about extended parking in the city parking lots for private businesses. Because I've had some concerns expressed to me about extended parking. I think we need to address that issue.
What do you mean? We just addressed, you mean like overnight parking?
Extended parking for businesses.
So you're saying businesses are feeling people are using their parking lot outside of patrons?
And storing, yeah.
And just saying.
Yeah, I'm not, I mean, it needs to be addressed.
And, excuse me, Jim, I did visit with the police chief on that. He had emailed me today, so I can forward his response to all that, saying what he's working on too.
Yeah, okay, but I think that's something needs to be addressed, because, I mean, that's been expressed to me a couple different times.
None of the opinions expressed to you were pertaining to the new orange areas, right? We have the new orange overnight parking behind, like, drinking
Not the,
establishments.
no, not the
Okay,
orange,
okay.
no, it's, they're parking for 72 hours, which extends into long periods of time for businesses. So, I think it needs to be addressed, but I want to see what Ken's
Yeah,
got to.
I'll send that out tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thanks, everybody. We're adjourned.